Hey, what's up, stock compounders? Brad here. Wow, it is weird to be back recording instead of being live. But anyway, today I want to talk about investing for your kids, okay? So I have a 1 year old. My little girl, my second born, had her first birthday yesterday, okay? And her grandparents were kind enough to give her a gift, right? To give her some money for her college, right? For university. And so, now I have the lovely position of having to figure out what to do with that money. All right. And a lot of you have asked before about how do I invest for my kids? What kind of account do I use? So I just want to run through that today and then talk about what I'm planning on doing with the actual money, what I'm planning on investing that in, and why. So just to start, there's a lot of different options, okay, in terms of investing for kids. And I think it's such a beautiful thing to do, okay? Because one of the biggest advantages that we have in investing is length of runway, okay? How long are we going to be compounding that capital? How many years? And if you can get someone started when they're born, or they're 1 year old, or even 3 years old, that is a potentially incredibly long runway, right? Warren Buffett bought his first stock when he was like 11 years old, okay? Obviously, he's quite old now. He's had something like 80 years of compounding, okay? But what if instead of 11, Buffett had started owning stocks when he was born, or a 1 year old, or 2 years old? So it's an incredible position to be in, to give someone that opportunity to get started with the compound growth engine so early. But anyway, so there's 529 education account is quite popular. I decided to go with the UTMA account. Okay, this is the account that my dad set up for me to invest for my college education. It's the same account that Monish Pabrai used for his kids. And I'm going to share really quickly, I think the big advantage over the UTMA account versus a 529 account. So what is UTMA? Uniform Transfers to Minors Act. Okay, it's a tax advantaged way to transfer wealth to your kids or other minors. So the big difference, okay, this is really the big difference that got me to choose the UTMA over the 529. Custodial accounts, that's a UGMA account, also can be used for non-education purposes, okay, whereas a 529 plan can be used only to cover qualified education expenses. So from my perspective, I don't want to decide for my kids, here, I want you to go to college, right? It's possible, I'm kind of hoping that my kids have sort of an entrepreneurial zeal about them, that they develop that as they grow up. And I could easily see them wanting to do an apprenticeship or even start their own business, right? And, learn that way through business if they have any entrepreneurial ambitions. So I don't like that limitation that the 529 plan imposes. And for that reason, I went with the UTMA. So if you want to learn more about that, obviously there's a ton of places to do that, but I have my UTMA account for both of my kids through Fidelity, all right? And it's real easy, super easy to set up. I'm not making any kickback from Fidelity for showing you guys this. There's no link to click on. Just go to open an account in Fidelity, click on saving and investing for a child. And then here it is, custodial account. Okay, you see that 529 account is the first option. The custodial account is the one that I went with. So all you have to do is fill in your info and then fill in your child's info, and you are up and running for that. So, like I said, we got this gift from my daughter's grandparents. What am I going to do with that? Okay, how am I going to spread that money out across different investments. So I think what I'm going to do is buy 5 small cap companies, right, that I've had, my radar on. I own 3 out of these 5 that are highlighted. I'm just going to kind of walk through why I selected these in particular. So I think I'm going to spread the funds out equally across these 5. I really like that they're so small, okay? In the same way, my daughter's 1 year old, so she has potentially a very long runway to compound. Same with these businesses, right? They're small. It's early or in the game for these businesses. Potentially, obviously, anything can happen in the game of business and the game of life. But some of my bigger holdings right now in terms of market cap, like Micron, Prosus, and Alibaba, I excluded from this, okay, because they're already so big. It's a lot harder to grow, at least grow orders of magnitude when you're starting at a large size. So you see, one of these is a micro cap, Racis out of Turkey. The rest are small caps. All right, you've got Shinnikin Group out of Japan, Daily Journal, which is in Los Angeles, California, in the U.S. We've got Nice Holdings out of South Korea, Greentown Management out of China. That's Andrew Rosenblum's most recent addition to Bonsai Partners. Cerritage Growth Properties. I don't even know where they're headquartered, but they've got properties all over the U.S. Suntech Realty and Edelweiss Financial, those 2 are out of India, okay? So why did I pick the 5 that are highlighted in bold blue? So what I did was I called Fidelity because I wanted to know, what can I actually buy in my Fidelity account out of these companies? So I talked to the International Trade Desk. That number is right here. I can buy in Turkey, right? I've already bought Racis through Fidelity. So I know that that's fairly straightforward. You have to do it over the phone. You can't do it on their online platform, but it's easy enough to do. Shinnikin Group, you can also buy through Fidelity. Daily Journal, obviously listed on the New York Stock Exchange. You can buy that basically through any broker. Nice Holdings out of South Korea. Now, South Korea cannot be accessed through Fidelity, okay? I think you have to be a resident of South Korea or some other, complicated thing for a U.S. resident in order to invest in Nice Holdings. Obviously, Pabrai owns Nice Holdings. He's quite bullish on it. Have no idea how he was able to buy it, but where there's a will, there's a way. I guess I just don't have that will, at least a high enough level of it to figure out how to buy Nice Holdings yet. And there could have been, quite a bit of financial expense, right? Pabrai may have needed to set up a corporation in South Korea. I don't know exactly what he did to access this, but too high of a bar for me. Greentown Management. Now, Fidelity won't allow you to invest on a Chinese exchange, but Hong Kong, Fidelity does have access to, and Greentown Management is available through the Hong Kong exchange. So that one is a go. Now, very weak insider ownership, at least from what I saw from the annual report with Greentown Management. I still need to understand better what the effective insider ownership is, because there's sort of an umbrella company that Greentown Management was spun off of, and they own something like 71% of Greentown Management. So I have to wrap my head around, all right, what implications does that have around, management incentives to act in alignment with shareholders. So hopefully I can find out more about that. And then lastly, Cerritage Growth Properties, another U.S. company that I've done quite a bit of work on. A lot of you have probably seen Tom and I do collaborations around Cerritage. And it's an attractive price still. Okay, I bought it at 10. It's very easy for me to price anchor to where I originally get into positions. Maybe I'm trying to kick that a little bit with Cerritage Growth Properties. But, Monish Pabrai himself, it says it's still quite undervalued. Okay, and that's also what I'm seeing based on the values that I came up with for the properties. And I like what Andrea Olshan is doing. I think, with her leadership as CEO, I'm still excited. I'm still excited to own Cerritage in my portfolio. So those are the 5. Now, Suntech Realty and Edelweiss, similar situation with South Korea. Cannot access those markets through Fidelity. The gentleman I talked to at the International Trade Desk said, you really have to be a resident of India in order to access those companies. Again, I'm sure there are loopholes. Obviously, Monish Pabrai is not a resident of India. He lives in LA, so not sure how he got access, but he was born in India, so I don't know, maybe he has some kind of dual citizenship that helped out with that. Or again, like I said, with Nice Holdings, maybe he had to set up some sort of business entity in India in order to do that. So, that's really, out of these 8, there's only 5 I can access through Fidelity. So that makes it fairly straightforward. So these are the 5 I'm planning on splitting up that gift to my daughter across in terms of what I'm going to be investing that money in. And hopefully we can ride it, right, for a decade, 2 decades, until she's of college age and ready to access those funds. So I plan on just kind of holding these and forgetting about them for hopefully 2 decades until she's ready to use that money. So curious what you guys think of this. If you are investing for your kids, curious to hear from you. What age did you start doing that? What account type are you using and why? And what you think about this strategy of really targeting small public companies that have, largely a shameless cloner approach, right? Pabrai is in 3 of these, pretty heavy. And then you've got Daily Journal with Matt Peterson of Peterson Funds. Obviously, Charlie Munger, very heavily involved in Daily Journal. Who knows how much longer that's going to be the case. But there seems to be some hidden compounders within Daily Journal. What is it? BYD is owned by Daily Journal. And just this software as a service kind of legal, I don't know all that much about it, but it seems like could have some legs, right? Seems like a niche that's they have a product with a pretty good moat around it. So that remains to be seen how that unfolds. But sorry guys, let me just refresh this. So you've got Daily Journal and then Greentown Management. Like I said, that's something I'm still digging deeper into. But a lot of respect for Andrew Rosenblum with Bonsai Partners, fellow investor in Alibaba and Micron. So a lot of respect for what he's doing. I really appreciate his write-up on Micron as well. And I've been making my way through that write-up for Greentown Management that was just recently released. I think it was Q2 of 2021 that Andrew bought Greentown Management. So that's all I wanted to share, guys. Just kind of a simple shameless cloner, set it and forget it for a child's education investment account. So curious to hear your thoughts as always. And I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.